Hi everyone and welcome to BigLZ Investing, and in this video I'm going to tell you why I believe that NIO stock will 10x in the next 5 to 10 years. But before we get into that, I want to start by saying that this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do not take anything that I say in this video as financial advice, and please make sure to do your own due diligence prior to making any investment. Now that that's been said, let's get into the video. Okay guys, so I've prepared a presentation that is going to show why I believe that NIO stock will 10x in the next 5 to 10 years. So first let's start off by establishing who is NIO. NIO is a Chinese EV manufacturing company headquartered in Shanghai, China. The company was founded in 2014 and is still being managed by the two founders of the company. Number one being William Bin Li, who is the company's current chairman and CEO, and number two being the company's director and president, Liang Xin. I hope I pronounced that correctly. NIO currently employs over 7,000 people. Now let's go into a few statistics surrounding NIO. NIO has delivered over 217,000 vehicles. This is on a cumulative basis, and I believe that's since 2017 when they made their first delivery of, I believe it was the ES8. The NIO stock price is currently $22.18, as you can see. And all of this is at the time of recording this video. The NIO stock may be up or it may be down when this video gets released. The market cap of NIO, again, at the time of making this video, is 37.05 billion, which is pretty good. I believe it's down from 73.08 billion at its all-time high, which is a significant drop. It currently has 8 billion in cash or cash equivalents on its balance sheet, and this, to me, is very significant. Being that NIO is still not a profitable company yet, just knowing that it has 8 billion in cash or cash equivalents on the balance sheet, to me as an investor it's great to know, because it gives me that feeling of if times continue to stay hard, then NIO will still be able to make it through, and that's a key thing. Knowing that they have that much cash on hand, if the pandemic was to carry on, or supply chain shortages or anything like that was to persist for a longer extended period of time, NIO would be able to make it through, and this is very important. Okay, so yeah, the NIO stock is down 64.2% from all-time highs, which is a big drop. The stock prediction from 10 Wall Street analysts come in at $33.66. This is within a 12-month period. 10 analysts have given it a buy rating, which equates to a strong buy, and it gives the company at $33.66, it gives the company a 51.76% upside potential, which is a very good return if you ask me. So why is NIO down so much? There's loads of reasons. One reason being the pandemic, which is having a vast effect everywhere in the world, specifically at the moment in China, where NIO is based and does most of their sales and most of their production. You have inflation. The inflation prices are becoming a big problem for NIO because the prices of the components that they need from their suppliers in terms of being able to make their cars has gone a lot higher, which actually has made it so that they've had to increase the price of their vehicles. You have the Russia and Ukraine war. This is something that's creating a big effect, because with the rise in oil prices and gas prices, it's meaning that people are focusing more on trying to live, making sure that their families are fed, etc, etc. They're worrying about that more than buying a car. So this is something that's massively affecting the NIO stock. Interest rates. Interest rates are going sky high, and this is something that's affecting not only NIO but many other businesses around the world. People have less disposable income, meaning they don't have enough extra cash on the side to be able to buy a vehicle, which is hindering NIO sales. Extreme fear. People are just scared to spend money on anything right now because they are merely concentrating on the essentials. So someone buying a car at this time is at the back of their mind. So this is something that's also going to contribute to NIO's downfall. Even when it comes to investments, people do not want to invest in companies like NIO at a time like this, because the market as a whole is risk off. Supply chain issues. It is well known within the industry that many companies, not only NIO but companies like Tesla, who is the big dog in this industry, are also struggling with supply chain issues. Semiconductor shortage. This is something that I believe hit this market, and not just the EV market but also the gaming market alike. I believe coming towards the end of 2021, when companies really started to get hit by the chip shortage, and it's become a big problem because semiconductors are a large part of NIO's vehicles because they're massively computerized. Why is NIO heading for explosive growth? This section will discuss the following: the industry growth, NIO Park, expansion into other countries and or regions, strong delivery growth, and also NIO's just released record monthly numbers, which is great to see, battery swap station usage and expansion, NIO's EV models, NIO's new luxury brand. The main reason why NIO will achieve so much in this industry is because as a whole the industry is a massive industry and NIO is becoming a very big player within that industry. So as you can see here, the future of the EV industry is bright. The global electric vehicle market is expected to reach 802.81 billion by 2027, which is massive, at a growth rate of 22.6%. The highest contributor to the industry is the Asia Pacific region, followed by Europe and North America. The Asia Pacific market is expected to reach 357.81 billion by 2027 at a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of 20.1%. And North America is estimated to reach 194.2 billion by 2027. So this just gives an overview of how big the market actually is and how big it's going to be in the years to come. We have merely touched the surface. So let's talk about NIO Park. NIO Park construction started on April 29th, 2021, and NIO is the largest member of the hub. The 16,950 acre park features three main function areas: smart manufacturing, research and development, and living space and eco park. NIO Park will have production capacity for 1 million electric cars and 100 gigawatt hours of batteries per year. Now that, guys, is absolutely massive. You can just imagine where cumulatively NIO has delivered 217,000 vehicles since 2017. Now you imagine them being able to produce 1 million vehicles a year. This is absolutely insane. This is one of the big reasons why NIO will achieve the numbers that I say. Because if you think about it, look at the numbers that they're achieving now. This is when the industry is still in its infant stage. But when it gets to the point where they can produce 1 million vehicles, and remember, in this industry, this is not a case of demand. The demand for these vehicles is there. It's a case of production. The companies are struggling to ramp up production enough to meet the demand. That's why Tesla's waiting list is years long. As you can see here is a slight look at what NIO Park will look like. As you can see from the picture, it's absolutely massive. So let's talk about NIO's expansion plans. So the US branch of Chinese automaker NIO continues to make interesting moves into North America, as the company signed a 10-year lease on a building in San Jose, California. The new 200,000 square foot, again really big, US headquarters is more than double the size of NIO's current footprint, signalling that a long speculated entry into the North American market could be one step closer to becoming a reality. As you can see from the tweet below from NIO, after entering Norway, NIO will introduce its products and holistic service system to Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden and Denmark in 2022. So this is something that we could expect. I believe in Germany and the Netherlands or Denmark, they've already established their presence into them countries. I'm not sure about Sweden yet. I'm not sure. But by the end of 2022, they are expected to be in all of these other countries. And by the end of 2025, NIO will establish its presence in over 25 countries worldwide. So if you think about where NIO is now and where they are planning to be by 2025, for me that gets me very excited as an investor, and it should get you excited as well. And just for full transparency, I currently own 299 shares in NIO, and I think the price of that is somewhere around 5,300, I believe. By the way, if you want to see a portfolio reveal, I will do that. I only currently have 2 stocks in it right now. I'm not the most a diversified investor, but if you want to see that, I'm more than happy to make a video around that. So let's look at NIO's strong delivery growth. NIO Inc. provides June and second quarter 2022 delivery update. Company achieved record high monthly deliveries. NIO delivered 12,961 vehicles in June 2022, increasing by 60.3% year over year. Now again, guys, This to me as an investor is very exciting. Just to know that in 1 year NIO's increased deliveries 60.3% is a massive deal, and it gets me very excited. NIO delivered 25,059 vehicles in 3 months ended June 2022, increased by 14.4% year over year. So again, you're seeing that gradual increase year over year, which is what we want to see. We want to see a company like this continue to grow year in, year out. Cumulative deliveries of NIO vehicles reached 217,897 as of June 30th, 2022. So you can see from the article below, NIO delivered 12,961 vehicles in June 2022, representing a strong increase of 60.3% year over year. The deliveries consisted of 8,612 premium smart electric vehicles, including 1,684 ES8s, 5,100 ES6s, 1,828 EC6s, and 4,349 ET7s, which I believe is one of their newer models to be released. NIO delivered 25,059 vehicles in Q2 2022, increasing by 14.4% year over year. Cumulative deliveries of NIO vehicles reached 217,897 as of June 30th, 2022. And as you can see, NIO's motto is blue sky coming. That's essentially what NIO stands for. So let's talk about the battery swap stations. So looking on NIO's LinkedIn page, NIO users have completed over 10 million battery swaps. Now, the main reason why I started investing in NIO in the first place was the technology behind the battery swap stations, and the reason why they're so significant to the company. So if you imagine, the most expensive component of electric vehicles is the battery. So that means that the end consumer has to pay that price. So what NIO has done, they've essentially built these battery swap stations, which enables them to charge a smaller price for their vehicles up front, and people will then pay a monthly subscription fee for the battery. So they're essentially renting the battery from the company. This enables NIO to charge less for their vehicles, which gives them a massive competitive advantage. And in the early days, this was speculated that it wouldn't work, because I know it's something that Tesla's tried and thought about doing in the past, but they didn't do it on a large scale. NIO is essentially doing this on a large scale, and by the looks of it, everything seems to be working as they are planned. So as you can see, every 2.8 seconds, one NIO car departs a NIO swap station with a full charge. 10 million swaps are equivalent to a total mileage of over 1.98 billion kilometers, contributing to around 130,327.5 tons of carbon emissions reductions. This is equivalent to the volume absorbed by 1.17 million fir trees over 30 years. Every swap is a step towards our vision of a blue sky. So let's talk about the current and upcoming models. So you have the EP9 Coupe, which was the first vehicle that they released, and at the time it was the fastest electric car on the planet. I don't know whether that's still the case, but this car was insanely quick. This car is not road legal. We have the EC6, which is an SUV, which is the company's current model. You have the EC6 SUV, which is again a current model. The ES8 SUV, which is a current model. The ET7 sedan, which is a current model. You have the EF9, which is the minivan, and it's an upcoming model, so it's not yet been released on the market. You have the ES3 SUV, which is also an upcoming model that's not yet been released on the market. You have the ES7 SUV, which is also an upcoming model. You have the ET5 sedan, which is also an upcoming model. Now you have the ET sedan, which is a concept idea, which is something that the company is thinking about, maybe bringing into production, but they're not quite sure on it yet. So it's just a concept idea. And you have the EVE, which is a station wagon, which is also a concept idea. Now, the reason why I've put the list of models up and why it's so significant, because if you look at a company like NIO or other relative brands, they have very few electric vehicles in their arsenal. So I believe with Tesla you have 3 or 4 main products, where as you can see here, you have a lot more products that NIO has under its belt. And this to me is a great thing, because it provides more options for customers. You may get some customers that don't want a coupe, so they might go for an SUV. they have a wider audience that they can reach. They can reach a wider audience because they essentially have a vehicle that suits everybody. So the new NIO brand, which is scheduled to launch in the second half of 2024, will primarily compete with Tesla's Model 3 and Model Y with its models. The target sales price are between 200,000 and 300,000 yen, or yuan. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, so please correct me in the comments if you can. Currently about 28,000 to 43,000 euros, according to Lee's announcement, which is the CEO. The vehicles will be 10% cheaper than the respective Tesla models and will also be compatible with NIO's battery swap system. So this is great. So essentially they want to be able to produce a cheaper vehicle which will essentially make the car a mass market vehicle, which is exactly what they need. As we can all agree, EV cars right now, they're extremely expensive and they're not in the price bracket of the everyday type of person that will buy your everyday Toyota or Vauxhall or Volkswagen, etc. This is going to be a brand that pretty much everyone can afford. Okay guys, so let's talk about NIO's profitability and what it means. So if you look at this picture, you can see that the earnings per share for NIO is at 70 cents essentially. So at minus 70 cents, which means to me that it's like they're teetering on the edge of becoming profitable. And this is something that I believe will happen within the next couple of years. So this is a very key bit of information, because if you consider how NIO went to $60, being a lot further away from profitability, then what do you think they can achieve when they become profitable? I mean, if you look at companies like Lucid has a minus earnings per share of $1.67, which would basically say to me that it's far along the road to becoming profitable. And again, this is all depending. So if you look at companies like Rivian, for example, you can see their earnings per share is minus $14.53. This would appear as though Rivian is like 5-6 years off of profitability. And I know as of recently they've been expanding a lot. Like they're on the very infant stages of deliveries and expansion. I believe they've only delivered 5,000 vehicles in total. So this would make sense. So if you look at competitors to NIO, like XPeng, obviously all of these are competitors, but XPeng are in their jurisdiction. So XPeng is also a Chinese company, and their earnings per share is minus 1.03 cents. So that would signal to me that again, NIO is closer to profitability than XPeng is. So these to me are very important, because when you're making an investment, you want to know these type of things. You want to know when is NIO going to reach profitability, because investing in a company that's not profitable is very risky. So what are the risks of investing in NIO? The number one is the company not being profitable. Now, as I've said before, as they have 8 billion in cash or cash equivalents on their balance sheet, to me, that is a massive safety net. So it all comes down to now how the management team manage the finances. They may make a lot of mistakes. They may maybe expand too quick for their own boots, that type of stuff. This could possibly hinder the company. So it's more about having the trust within the management team that they're going to spend the money wisely, and they're going to keep in the back of their mind everything that we're going through in the world, and always have the reserves to be able to keep the company going if any more black swan events happen or the economy continues to worsen. But I really do believe that NIO's management team will have that in mind, and they will always make sure that they have enough to get them through tough times. This to me I don't see as being a massive issue, considering how much money they have in the balance sheet, but anything can happen. So for you guys that's watching this video, this is something that you should consider. I've already made my mind up on the company, but it's something that you should consider if you wanna invest into NIO. And the biggest fear for me personally is the delisting fear. I know this is all dependent on the relations between the US and China. This is something that is in the unknown. We don't know how the USA is going to continue to get along with China. I know there's a lot of things with auditing right now, so the SEC has added NIO to their list of Chinese companies to potentially delist, which sent a lot of fear through the investors. But it's one of them things. Don't put the amount of money in that you're scared to lose, essentially. So me, I've put the money in, and as far as I'm concerned, that's not my money anymore. And I've made a decision. I made a very strategic and logical decision. I've done my research, and whatever happens, happens. If NIO goes bust tomorrow, it was one of them things. But I don't think that's going to happen. The biggest fear for me is delisting. That's got a much higher probability of happening. than NIO going bankrupt, for example. So these are two things to keep in mind as people that's watching this video. So I want to say thank you for watching the first video. Please like, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.